working with unbound consciousness, or meditation with unbound consciousness. This is one of those slippery techniques or slippery things to describe. But once you get it, it just clicks, and it's so simple and so easy and so obvious. But it's also a very powerful, relaxing, valuable, perhaps I could say centering technique. But you can certainly practice this way without any sense of a center as well. The key, or the key insight, is really to realize that everything, every perception, every way you see the world, every way you see yourself, any state you think you're in, any emotion you think you're experiencing, anything you think you believe, it's all thought. Anything that is structured such as, I don't understand this, this is confusing, I don't know where to put my attention, or mind-wandering thoughts about the past or future, imagining something that already happened, imagining what's going to happen next. These are all thoughts. So the key to this, when you sit, close your eyes, is to just notice whatever thought is there right now. There may be a gap before you notice a thought. But as you notice the thought, the first thought that comes, you'll notice that that thought, substance of that thought, has a certain knowingness to it. It's known, knowable, experienceable as knowing. Or there wouldn't be one, correct? So, whatever that is, whatever form it takes, can be a curiosity thought, could be a frustration thought, could be an image of somebody's face, could be an image of a room that you just left. It can be anything. That's consciousness, structured as one single thought. That's it. There's no more to think about. Just experience the knowingness of that. Being clear that the knowingness is any sense of you that could exist, any sense of knowing, and any object of knowing, like a narrative, a story, a statement, a visual experience in the mind. All of it. It's all the same knowingness, fluid, complete, without beginning or end. Undivided. There's no division between the sense of a thinker and the sense of a thought. There's no distinction between a thought and the space in which a thought seems to emerge and return. It's all one seamless substance. And you just remain here. Keep attention here. One little clue I'll give is a dilated attention is helpful. Meaning, wherever the thought seems to arise, whether it feels like it's behind you, in front of you, above or below, doesn't matter. Just keep that lens of awareness wide open. And if the thought comes that says, I never understand this, I never understand this kind of meditation, consciousness, that's the thought. Doesn't mean anything went wrong. Nothing went wrong at all. If you believe the thought that you don't understand something and there's a you that doesn't understand it and there's something to understand, yeah, then it's a whole problem and you'll start thinking about other things. But if you see that that's the thought, you're already there. That thought, the thinker, the space in which it arises, is all consciousness. So just stay with it. Don't move, don't push, don't pull. But remain wide open such that if another thought starts sneaking in, you're aware of it. And it starts to coalesce, the thoughts start to morph into one another. You may feel that shouldn't say background and foreground perhaps, of this undifferentiated neutral consciousness that often has a very pleasant feel to it. Neutral but pleasant. You may notice that just gets a little more clear, a little more prominent in experience. But thoughts still can arise. They just don't ever really separate from that baseline clarity, that baseline knowingness. And you just stay here. If a thought form does occur, it's not a problem. It never leaves the consciousness mass or the conscious experience, just like a wave never leaves the ocean. It is the ocean. A thought is consciousness, so it's never a problem. So we just remain here, experiencing, being experience itself, needing nothing, not pushing anything away, not daydreaming, not analyzing. This is pure consciousness, or unbound consciousness. Unbound into thoughts, unbound into the thinker, unbound into subject-object. Pure, flowing, interpenetrating, permeable, flexible, without beginning or end, without any distinct quality, but it can also take on qualities like the quality of a thought. Just don't lose sight of the fact that the potentiality for quality is always there, whether there's a quality forming or not. Just like the potential to form a wave is there, whether there's a wave or not. It's a bit like a dance, perhaps. But don't overcomplicate it. The key is not to get identified into thoughts about this, because those are just thoughts. And if you believe them, then you'll think more thoughts and more thoughts and more thoughts. Try to use thoughts to solve the problem of thoughts, rather than just rest as the entirety of consciousness, being alert to any thought movement, formation, but not believing it, not listening to the story of it. Because the story doesn't really matter. The mere presence of any thought form is conformatory of consciousness itself, and vice versa.